The cold silence of space enveloped Princess Yuna Park as her damaged starship drifted through the endless darkness. Sparks flickered across broken control panels, casting weak shadows across her weary face. She had once been the pride of her people, the youngest royal commander in the Galactic Confederation's history, now reduced to a lone survivor. 3 standard days ago, the Voidborn Collective had launched their most devastating attack. Their massive warships had emerged from quantum tunnels, overwhelming her fleet with brutal precision. Yuna remembered the desperate battle, the screams of her fellow soldiers and the thunderous explosions that consumed her entire battle group. Her ship's life support systems were failing. Oxygen recyclers worked at minimal capacity, and the emergency power cells would last perhaps another 36 hours. Outside the fractured viewports, massive debris fields from destroyed starships drifted like ghostly monuments to a lost battle. Yuna checked her communication systems one more time. Nothing. No signals, no rescue beacons, no hope. The sophisticated, quantum communication array that once connected her to the entire Galactic Confederation was now nothing more than melted circuitry and broken crystals. She remembered her training. Royal commanders were supposed to be calm, collected, strategic, but in this moment she felt small. The weight of her failure pressed against her chest, making each breath a struggle. Her entire fleet, hundreds of advanced starships, thousands of skilled warriors, had been reduced to scattered wreckage. The Voidborn Collective was ruthless. They didn't just want territory or resources. They sought complete annihilation. Species after species had fallen before their relentless technological might. And now, her people were about to join that tragic list of extinct civilizations. Yuna pulled up the last recorded battle data. The tactical display showed how quickly her fleet had been overwhelmed. The Voidborn's weapon systems were generations beyond anything her civilization had developed. Quantum disruptors, phase shift cannons, molecular destabilization technology. They had turned her proud fleet into cosmic dust in mere minutes. Her personal communication device blinked weakly. One last message from her father, the High Chancellor, played silently. "Daughter, if you survive, remember our people's spirit. We do not surrender. We adapt." Tears formed in her eyes, quickly freezing in the ship's cold environment. Adaptation seemed impossible now. Her ship's defensive systems were destroyed. Navigation computers were offline, and her last weapon systems had been completely neutralized during the initial attack. Outside, the massive debris field told a grim story. Broken starship hulls, frozen bodies of her fellow soldiers, scattered equipment, all drifting in a silent graveyard of her civilization's hope. The Voidborn would soon sweep through this sector, ensuring no survivors remained. Yuna's training kicked in. She began running diagnostics, checking emergency systems, looking for any possible way to signal for help. But deep inside, she knew the truth. She was alone, completely and utterly alone. Her royal training had prepared her for diplomatic negotiations, strategic planning, and leadership, but nothing prepared her for total defeat. Nothing prepared her for watching her entire civilization be erased from existence. The ship's temperature continued to drop. Frost began forming on interior surfaces. Her survival suit's heating elements were working overtime, but they too would soon fail. She calculated her remaining time. Approximately 24 hours before total system collapse. In these final hours, Yuna reviewed her civilization's history. Centuries of progress, technological advancements, cultural achievements, all about to be forgotten. The Voidborn would ensure no trace remained. No memory survived. She closed her eyes, allowing herself a moment of vulnerability. The brave princess, the strategic commander, was now just a lonely survivor waiting for the inevitable. Little did she know, thousands of light years away, a hidden human fleet was about to change everything. The ship drifted silently, a tiny beacon of hope in the vast uncaring darkness of space. Deep within a classified sector of space, the human monitoring station hummed with quiet intensity. Rows of advanced holographic displays flickered with countless data streams, tracking the subtle movements of distant star systems. Admiral Jae-won, Kim stood motionless, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. eyes scanning the intricate web of galactic information. The station was unlike any military installation in human history. Buried beneath layers of quantum encrypted security, it represented humanity's most advanced early warning system. Most governments didn't even know it existed. This was the Silent Watch, humanity's secret guardians of galactic peace. Hannah Lee, the lead tactical analyst, noticed the anomaly first. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, pulling apart layers of spatial data. A faint energy signature caught her attention, weak, damaged, but distinctly different from the typical background radiation of space. "Sir," she called out, her voice calm but urgent. "We have an unusual reading in Sector 7 Gamma." Admiral Kim moved closer to her station. The holographic display expanded, revealing a tiny damaged energy signature drifting through a massive debris field. Most monitoring systems would have missed it entirely, but the Silent Watch was designed to catch even the faintest whispers of potential distress. "Analysis," he commanded. Hannah's fingers moved rapidly. Complex algorithms began breaking down the signature's composition, comparing it against thousands of known species and ship designs. The result was unusual. A royal vessel from a civilization they had only encountered briefly in previous long-range scans. "It's a survivor," Hannah said quietly. "Completely isolated. Minimal life support. Approximately 18 hours of potential survival. Time remaining." The room fell silent. The Silent Watch had strict protocols. They were observers, not rescuers. Their mission was to monitor, protect, and prevent total extinction of intelligent species, but never directly intervene. "Admiral," Kim studied the data. The ship's signature matched records of the Galactic Confederation, a civilization currently under attack by the Voidborn Collective. Intelligence reports suggested a complete systemic destruction was underway. "Probability of survival if we do nothing?" he asked. Hannah's computer calculated instantly. 0.3%, essentially none. The Admiral knew the political complications. Direct intervention could expose their hidden fleet. It could trigger diplomatic nightmares. Their entire operation was built on remaining undetected, watching, protecting the broader galactic ecosystem without anyone knowing. But something about this particular signature gave him pause. The energy pattern suggested a high-ranking individual. Perhaps a leader. Someone who might carry critical information about the Voidborn's expansion. "Prepare Phantom Squadron," he said finally. "Stealth configuration. Absolute minimal exposure." The station transformed. Crews moved with practiced efficiency. Quantum fold navigation systems came online. Advanced stealth technologies activated, rendering their ships invisible to conventional detection methods. 6 sleek vessels began preparation. Each was a technological marvel, capable of moving between dimensions, equipped with technologies that would seem like magic to most civilizations. They could destroy entire battle groups without firing a single visible weapon. Hannah looked up. "Sir, are we actually mounting a rescue?" Admiral Kim's response was measured. "We're preventing the complete loss of a potential strategic asset. Nothing more." The station's deeper purpose ran far beyond simple military strategy. Humanity had learned hard lessons about survival. They understood that in the vast, complex universe, preservation of intelligent life was sometimes more important than immediate tactical advantage. The Phantom Squadron prepared to fold space, their quantum drives humming with potential energy. They would approach the damaged ship, assess the situation, and extract the survivor if deemed strategically viable. No one spoke about the humanitarian aspect. No one mentioned the lives that might be saved. In this hidden station, everything was calculated, measured, strategically evaluated. Yet beneath the cold calculations, something uniquely human stirred. A fundamental drive to protect, to preserve, to offer hope where none seemed possible. The universe watched. Space held its breath, and 6 invisible ships prepared to change everything. The quantum fold drives of the human ships hummed softly as they emerged from dimensional space. No light, no sound, no traditional energy signature announced their arrival. They simply existed, where moments before there had been nothing. Unipark's damaged chip sensors flickered weakly. Something was different. The surrounding space, which moments ago had been filled with void-borne patrol vessels, now felt changed. Outside her viewport, massive enemy ships began to disintegrate, not explode, not burn, simply fall apart. Quantum weapons worked with surgical precision, breaking molecular bonds without traditional weapon signatures. The void-borne patrol commander, a creature named Kang, never saw the attack coming. One moment his fleet controlled the sector, the next, total destruction. Advanced sensor systems failed. Quantum disruption fields made their most sophisticated tracking technology useless. 6 human ships moved like ghosts. Each vessel was smaller than a typical void-borne warship, but their technology was generations ahead. They didn't just destroy, they strategically dismantled entire defensive networks. Inside the lead human ship, Admiral Jae-won Kim watched holographic displays. His team worked with machine-like precision, no wasted movements, no unnecessary communications, pure, calculated efficiency. Target neutralized, Hana Lee reported, her voice calm and professional. The void-borne fleet, once considered unbeatable, became nothing more than floating debris within minutes. No dramatic explosions, no heroic last stands, just systematic, cold elimination. Yuna watched in absolute disbelief. These ships moved differently. They didn't fight like any civilization she had ever encountered. No wasteful energy expenditure. No unnecessary violence. Pure strategic elimination. A communication signal broke through her damaged systems. The language was strange, yet somehow she understood. Survivor identified. Preparing extraction. Her royal training kicked in. Part of her wanted to analyze, to understand. Another part simply felt relief. Survival, something that seemed impossible moments ago, was now a potential reality. The human ships began careful approach procedures. Their technological systems were already scanning her damaged vessel, preparing precise rescue protocols. They weren't just approaching, they were meticulously planning every single movement. Quantum tethers extended from the lead ship, creating a stabilization field around Yuna's damaged vessel. Her ship's failing systems were gently supported, preventing further structural collapse. Admiral Kim's tactical team worked silently, each movement calculated, each decision balanced between technological possibility and strategic necessity. Life support minimal, one officer reported. Recommend immediate medical intervention. The rescue wasn't dramatic, no explosive breaching, no heroic boarding procedures, just precise, calculated technological intervention. Her ship was essentially caught by advanced quantum fields, preventing further damage. Yuna felt something she hadn't experienced in days: hope. The human ships moved with a grace that defied traditional understanding of space combat. They hadn't just rescued her. They had completely transformed the entire tactical scenario in moments. Her last memory before losing consciousness was of strange, efficient movement. Silent, precise, almost beautiful. The void-borne patrol sector, which moments ago had been a scene of potential extinction, was now nothing more than a carefully cleaned battlefield. No evidence remained of the massive destruction that had just occurred. 6 ships, hundreds of void-borne vessels, completely neutralized without a single human energy weapon being traditionally fired. As Yuna's ship was carefully moved into the lead vessel's quantum-stabilized medical bay, she realized something fundamental had changed. Her understanding of warfare, of survival, of possibility, everything was about to be rewritten. The universe had just demonstrated that hope could emerge from the most unexpected places, and sometimes salvation came in the most quiet, precise manner possible. Humanity's hidden guardians had just changed everything. Yuna awakened slowly, her vision blurry and her body feeling strange. The medical bay was unlike anything she had ever seen. Clean, silent. Advanced technology hummed softly around her, monitoring every aspect of her recovery. A human medical officer named Dr. Park, no relation to Yuna, stood nearby reviewing holographic medical data. His movements were precise, caring, but completely professional. Nothing like the emotional medical teams from her own civilization. "Your cellular regeneration is progressing faster than expected," he said simply. "We've repaired 78% of your physical trauma using quantum cellular reconstruction techniques." Yuna tried to speak, but her throat felt dry. A small robotic arm extended from the medical bed, offering her a hydration solution perfectly calibrated to her biological needs. No unnecessary movements, pure efficiency. Around her, the ship's internal environment seemed to adapt continuously. Temperature, humidity, oxygen levels, everything adjusted without human intervention. The technology didn't just support life, it anticipated needs before they became problems. Admiral Jae-won Kim visited her recovery room. His approach was direct, without typical diplomatic formalities her own culture would have demanded. "You are the royal commander from the Galactic Confederation," he stated. It wasn't a question. "Your fleet was destroyed by Voidborn Collective 3 standard days ago." Yuna nodded, surprised by his straightforward communication. The Admiral began explaining humanity's monitoring systems, not as a boast, but as a simple factual presentation. They watched potential extinction events. They prevented complete species elimination when strategically possible. Not out of heroism, but because preserving intelligent life maintained galactic balance. "We do not seek territory," he explained. "We seek stability." Her medical recovery became a window into human culture. Every treatment was precise, every interaction calculated. Yet underneath the efficiency she sensed something deeper, a fundamental respect for life. The ship's medical technologies were beyond anything she had imagined. Nanobots repaired her cellular damage. Quantum healing, fields accelerated tissue regeneration. Complex systems worked silently, effectively. Dr. Park explained their medical philosophy. "We preserve. We do not just heal. We understand that each living being represents potential." Yuna learned about humanity's hidden history. They had watched civilizations rise and fall. They had technology that could destroy entire star systems, yet they chose observation and selective intervention. Their ships could move between dimensions. Their medical technologies could resurrect nearly dead organisms. Their communication systems could decode any language instantly. Yet they remained hidden, watching, protecting. "Why save me?" Yuna finally asked. Admiral Kim's response was simple. "Your survival represents potential knowledge. Your civilization's data might help prevent future conflicts." The human approach was completely different from any civilization she had encountered. No emotional speeches, no dramatic rescue narratives. Just pure, calculated preservation of potential. Her damaged royal starship was being simultaneously repaired in another section of the massive vessel. Not restored to its original state, but completely upgraded using human technological standards. Quantum communication systems were being integrated. Defensive technologies were being enhanced. What was once a damaged royal vessel would become a technological marvel. "We do not replace," Dr. Park explained. "We enhance. We respect original design while improving fundamental capabilities." Yuna realized these humans were unlike any species she had studied. They didn't seek conquest. They didn't seek recognition. They simply existed. Watching, protecting, enhancing. Their entire civilization seemed built on a fundamental principle: preservation through intelligent, calculated intervention. As her recovery continued, Yuna understood something profound. Humanity wasn't just a species. They were guardians, silent, efficient, deeply principled, and they had just saved her life. The royal chambers of the Galactic Confederation headquarters fell silent as Yuna Park delivered her report. Political leaders stared in disbelief, their sophisticated communication devices recording every word of her extraordinary testimony. "Humans are not what we believed," she stated firmly. "They are not conquerors. They are guardians. Her detailed intelligence about the human fleet challenged everything her civilization understood about potential galactic threats. The quantum data she brought showed technologies so advanced they seemed almost impossible. Not weapons of destruction, but systems of preservation. The High Chancellor, an elderly leader with generations of political experience, listened carefully. His weathered hands traced holographic displays, showing the rescue mission's details. Each movement of the human ships represented a level of technological sophistication that made their own advanced systems look primitive. Political debates erupted. Some leaders wanted immediate diplomatic contact. Others remained suspicious. But Yuna's first-hand experience carried significant weight. They could have conquered us, she explained. Instead, they chose to save a single survivor. Their motivation was not conquest, but balance. The human fleet remained hidden, watching. They didn't demand recognition. They didn't seek diplomatic meetings. They simply continued their silent monitoring of potential galactic threats. Admiral Jae-won Kim reviewed the potential diplomatic scenarios from his classified station. His team analyzed every possible outcome of Yuna's testimony, not with emotional investment, but with pure strategic calculation. Probability of positive diplomatic engagement, 67.3%, Hana Lee reported, her fingers dancing across quantum interfaces. The humans had spent centuries watching, learning, understanding how civilizations rise and fall. Their approach was never about immediate gain but long-term galactic stability. Yuna's recovered starship became a symbol. Upgraded with human technologies, it represented a bridge between two completely different civilizations, not through conquest but through careful, calculated enhancement. The Voidborn Collective, who had been systematically destroying multiple civilizations, now faced a new potential threat. Not through direct military intervention but through strategic alliances and technological support. Political leaders in the Galactic Confederation began reassessing their entire strategic approach. The humans had demonstrated capabilities far beyond traditional military power. They could neutralize entire fleets without traditional weapon systems. They preserve potential, Yuna repeated during her final testimony. They see life as a complex system to be balanced, not conquered. Her medical recovery became a diplomatic tool. The quantum healing technologies, the precise medical interventions, the respect shown during her rescue, all became talking points in potential alliance discussions. The human fleet continued its silent watch. No dramatic announcements, no diplomatic missions. Just continuous monitoring of potential galactic threats. Admiral Kim understood something fundamental. True power wasn't about destruction. It was about preservation, about maintaining complex systems, about watching and protecting when necessary. Yuna's civilization began preparing communication protocols, not demands, but careful, respectful engagement attempts. They understood now that humans were not a species to be challenged, but potentially powerful allies. The quantum data she brought showed remarkable insights. Human monitoring systems could predict potential conflict zones years before they emerged. Their technological capabilities could stabilize entire planetary systems. Political debates continued, but something had fundamentally changed. The Galactic Confederation now saw humanity not as a potential threat, but as a potential guardian. "We do not seek your submission," would be the human message. "We seek balance." As diplomatic discussions continued, the human fleet remained hidden, watching, monitoring, protecting. A new chapter in galactic relationships was about to begin, not through dramatic declarations, but through quiet, calculated understanding. The universe watched, and humanity continued its silent guardianship.